5 minutes, you're ready to go.
Welcome to Race Time Radio. You'll hear from the best in Canadian U.S. racing this week. Grab a cold one and stick around.
You're good. They got a car in the wall in 3.
The starter tower has signaled. We're ready to roll. It's Race Time Radio, and it starts right now. Here's your host, Joe Chisholm.
Everybody have a safe one. Keep her in one piece.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Race Time Radio. Sure hope you had a good time over the Easter weekend. We were off, and we had a dynamite time. The weather has been spectacular ever since. And I'll tell you what, feeling a lot like race season right now in April. Reality is going to set back in here in Ontario, though, just probably tomorrow. And then temperatures are going to cool back down, and we'll be back on the roller coaster. But, hey, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We got Junior in the house. What's going on tonight there, Junior? How are you?
Hey, rocking and rolling. This weather, my Lord, it could stick around all year.
Oh,
that's perfect.
Yes, it is.
No bugs outside.
None.
You know, lots of warm temperatures, lots of sunshine. Yeah, we definitely, we were definitely blessed up here.
Big time.
Unfortunately, it was because of all the big storms and everything that went through down in the southeast. So while we got to bask in the sunshine, those guys had to battle some pretty massive and big storms down there, but definitely thoughts and prayers are down towards the southeast, and hopefully they can battle through it and rebuild.
Oh, absolutely. You want to believe it, and they're gonna, and summer will hit here, no doubt. Let me tell you who we got coming on the show tonight. We're gonna talk APC and a little bit of Pinty's, I hope, with our first guest. Kyle Steckly will join us. He'll be all set and ready to go. I seen him at Motorama, got a nice piece with him. Audio didn't work, so it's okay. We got him live tonight on the program. We'll also check in with Andrew Ranger. He's getting set for another Pinty season in that 27 car. We'll check in with the Rocks Pond native from Quebec, Andrew Ranger. We'll also speak with Jason White. Of course, Talladega is up. You'll remember back to Daytona when the ARCA 200 was on, and Sun Peaks, BC, Jason White almost won himself that huge race. Jason is all locked and loaded, so to speak, ready to go for Talladega, and that comes up next weekend. Jason White's going to join us tonight. We'll see how the plans are all coming together. Get inside the helmet with Jason, and we'll find out what he's thinking heading into this super speedway race. The guy's getting pretty damn good at it, and I love his chances going into this one. We'll also, in hour number 2, zip out to the West Coast, and we're going to check in with Noel Dowler. You remember Noel. He's been around forever in this sport. Well, not quite forever, but the name Dowler has. Noel had good success just last year in the RS1 Cup Series. Got a couple of wins, Saskatoon, Penticton, and Noel has been there, done that. He's going to hopefully be ready for a new season out in RS1 Cup Series competition, and we'll check in tonight with Noel Dowler. Also, in hour number 2, we're going to talk Western Rattler300 with the guy that was on the pole for that very race for the first ever, which was last year at Penticton Speedway. Wes Mader is going to join the show tonight. We'll talk to him about the second annual Western Rattler300, see if he's got not only a pole in that car, maybe he's going to have himself a win. We'll find out tonight with Wes. But Junior, what do you say we get to that Zoom line and welcome in our first guest? I can see Kyle Steckly all locked and loaded, ready to go. What's going on there, Mr. Steckly? How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you doing?
Fantastic. You got that 22 machine all shined up, ready to go?
Yeah, it's all ready to go for next Saturday at the APC Media Day at Dowler Speedway. This nice weather's been getting me excited. I'm ready to get back to the track and see what this year brings.
Much changes this year, Kyle, to the car? Did you have to do much to it? Or I shouldn't say did you have to. Did you do many changes that you wanted to do? You and, of course, Scott Steckly, your dad, and the whole crew. I can well imagine you guys were in the shop over the offseason going, what do you think we try this year?
Yeah, we definitely kept busy after coming back from Florida. We had to change the car all back over to the APC rules, so that took quite a while. And we've been thinking of things to try, things to test, and see what we can do to be a little faster this year.
Well, you had a great season last year. When you take a look at the whole scenario and everything that you managed to pull off, you got a lot of racing in. You got some victories under your belt. You had some invaluable experience in the Pinty series, and coupled in with guys like Stuart Friesen, and oh man, it just good things all around. And I can well imagine you're going to be building on that here in 2023. What are your goals this year? What's the boxes looking like?
Yeah, last year was definitely a huge learning year. So we built a good notebook, tested it at all the tracks, raced everywhere on the series and all that. So this year I'm looking to go out and win races, just win as many races as I can. And I think the points will follow in the APC series. And we're going to not run Delaware full time this year, but we're just going to travel around and run some local specials and continue doing some select Pinty's races. So just go out and contend for wins every weekend, and hopefully we can be in victory lane quite often.
Now, saying that, and I know that if you go out to the first late model race at Delaware Speedway on the Friday night deal and you happen to win it, you're going to be at the top of the points. That'll be a little hard to say, okay, well, we're going to take next Friday off. What happens? What happens if you get out there and all of a sudden have that beautiful start?
Yeah, I think we're going to stay focused on the APC series. It's pretty hard to run both, and our commitment this year is going for that APC series championship. So we want to 100% commit to that. And, I think there's a lot of other races at other tracks that I'm really looking forward to running, and running Delaware just wouldn't make that possible. So I'm definitely going to miss out on competing there weekly because it's a great field, a great track, and it's always puts on a good show. But we're just going to focus on the series this year, focus on traveling a bit. I'm excited to get to Sunset Speedway for a couple races. Flamborough has a couple big races, so I'm excited to travel around a bit and get more experience at different tracks.
Yeah, and go after the dough, right? We got some $10,000 to win races. There's nothing wrong with chasing the dough. You're really good at it. Now, in saying that, Kyle, does that trim your late model count down to one car, and specifically the APC car? I know last year you had a couple of 22 cars. Does it trim you down to one now, or do you still get two prepared?
We still have two prepared, but definitely the APC car is going to be ran more than what it was last year at some regular nights as practice, but we're still going to have two full cars this year ready to go. If anything happens, we're still running a couple double headers. The schedule isn't getting any smaller. We're still running 20 to 25 races, so it's still going to be really busy, but I'm looking forward to it.
How about the crew guys on that 22 machine? Of course, your dad, Scott Steckly, multi-champion in the NASCAR Pinty Series, NASCAR Canadian Tire Series back in the day. You got a lot of good guys on your race team. Did you add any? We got the same guys? Who have we got?
Yeah, a lot of the guys are coming back, which I'm super thankful for. They all are great guys, come out to the shop, help out, know what they're doing at the track. They give up their weekends to come and help out and be at the track with me. So really grateful for all of them. We've got a good group around me, and just going to keep building with the same group as last year. And, it's a lot of fun going to the track with them guys.
Kyle, I know that you've been there and done that now in late model racing. You're starting to really the amount of starts that you've had, the amount of victories that you've had, the amount of good runs that you've had, they really start to add up. And I always like to get a feel for where a driver's mindset is at. I think back to guys like Dylan Blankhorn. They were classed as the young guys, right? They were classed as the young guys in their class. Guys like Cole Butcher and Dylan Blankhorn. They're still younger guys, right? Mm-hmm. They're not, they're still in their 20s. But yet they've been there and done that. Do you feel right now that you still go to the racetrack and feel like the young guy? Or are you starting to feel now, not that you belong, because obviously you belong, but that you're more of a crafty veteran now, or that you're starting to build on that momentum and you're starting to build, a notebook now? Or do you still go into a racetrack feeling like the young guy?
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like a crafty veteran, but I'm definitely building on the notebook and getting more comfortable going to all the tracks and racing with the guys I've been racing with for the past couple of years. So that's new to me because I've never stayed in one class for too long before. So I'm getting used to all the guys I'm racing against, traveling around at all the tracks. So I'm definitely a lot more comfortable than I was a year ago. But yeah, I'm just excited to get back and go hunt for wins with the same guys I was racing against last year.
Well, you command a pile of respect. I guarantee you that. When you roll in the gate, any of the competitors are definitely watching you in practice and every move that you possibly make. A lot of times you're setting the bench and the mark for guys to hit on that particular night. Which racetrack out of all the ones that you've been to, which one is your Achilles heel? Which one is the one you go, God, I got to get better at this place?
Definitely Sunset. Last year was the first time I ever went to Sunset Speedway, and we struggled. We had speed, but I struggled on the long runs, saving the tires. I wasn't good at that the first race, that's for sure. I was battling with Jake Sheridan for the first 20 laps, and all of a sudden I had no rear tires left, and fell back to 10th. So got a little better the second race, but it's definitely something I need to build on. And tire management was a big learning curve last year, and that's another thing. Like, I learned so much about tire management last year, so going into this year, I've got a lot more confidence in that, and I'm looking forward to the longer distance races. This is 150 laps at Sunset's going to be tough, but I'm excited to get some laps under my belt there.
Oh, yeah, you're going to do great. You remind me a lot of, a young Matt Perdigo. When Matt would jump out of the car when he first started running the late model, he could go out and run, the Great Canadian, what was that, 100 junior, or was that a 150?
The Great Canadian 200.
Was it 200?
Yep.
Yeah. He jumped out of that race. It was hot. Man, Sue and I were sitting in the grandstand watching the race, and I'm literally melting. And I get down and get some interviews after the race. Perdigo jumps out, and it looks like he just, I don't know, he just went out and did a couple laps, and it was like nothing to him. He could have went and done it again. It's important, right? Those longer races, getting in shape for them. Do you do cardio? Do you do a bunch of workout routine to sort of prepare your body for what you're about to do this year?
Yeah, I do that a bit, but probably not as much as I should. But I do that a bit, but I stay pretty busy, working on the cars and going to school and all that. So I try to when I can, but I haven't been doing too much of that lately with the season coming up. We've been swamped in the shop, so that's all I've been thinking about. But it definitely is really important, and some people, don't realize that and don't take the time and appreciate how important it is to be in good shape. And, it's one less thing that your mind's thinking about on lap 95 of 100 when you're going for that win.
Oh. Your
body's not struggling to keep pushing.
Absolutely. If you're just tuned into Race Time Radio, welcome aboard. We're with Kyle Steckly. You may not know his face, but now you do. The 22 APC car. He's getting ready to go. He's going to do the APC series, going after that championship. Look out, J.R. Fitzpatrick. This kid's coming. And we're going to see him in select NASCAR Pinty's races. Do you know which Pinty's races you're going to do just yet, Kyle?
They're not 100% finalized, but I'm hoping to do the Ontario Ovals. So that'll be for sure the Sunset and the Delaware. So I'm really looking forward to doing both of those, running at tracks I've ran before. And, those cars are so much different. So I just want to get more laps in them, get more seat time, and run with those guys because it's pretty fun running with them guys. They definitely don't give you any room. They push you pretty hard, and it's a little different than late model racing, but it's a ton of fun. So I'm looking forward to getting back in a Pinty's car this year.
I want to see you at Chaudier. I like, honestly, man, the way that you drive, the way that you attack the corner in those Pinty's cars, I think you'd do really good there. And I think that I think you'd have a ton of fun. Have you been to Chaudier? Like, have you been there to watch? Or yeah, I imagine you have been, right?
I've never been there.
You've never been there?
I've never been there.
It's one of those tracks
I wanted to go this year.
Yep.
But I couldn't because Flamborough overlaps.
Oh,
Flamborough APC is the same weekend, so I can't make it. So that one's off crossed off the list, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. It's unfortunate, but I'd really, that's a place where, you know, a guy like Kyle Steckly could really make some hay, and have some fun with it. But Kyle, looking at, of course, you went down south, got a few laps in, and posted some good results down at Five Flag Speedway this year. Last year, of course, you went out there and raced in the Pinty Series and turned some heads and posted some results in that one. Not the result that you wanted at Delaware, obviously, but everywhere else. What do you feel that you took away from last year that you're going to build on the momentum side for the championship? Is it raw speed? Is it you know, certain techniques? What is it that you're really heading into this year with excitement about?
Honestly, last year was such a learning curve for me and even my crew, especially on the late model side, is I'm just excited going into this year, having more knowledge and being more comfortable. Because last year we were going to tracks for the first time. Our setup wasn't there. We weren't sure what we were doing with setup. We were constantly changing our setup. So I'm excited to go into this year with a notebook, be prepared, be consistent, and just know what I have under me and what I'm going to the track with and what the tracks are like. So I'm really looking forward to having experience and being comfortable.
And Alice Cooper's song, right? No more Mr. Nice Guy. You're going to go out there and you're going to go after it right from lap one. I noticed a few times, Kyle, last year where guys bounced you around because they knew that you were not that guy that is going to go back and retaliate and, you know, put their car in two pieces. Kyle would maybe be mad, but he's going to, you know, still race you clean. And that sometimes hurt the results that you were going to get. You got to know that in that series, you can't be dirty, but in the same respect, you can't take it and not be under the impression that you're going to be taking it all the time. If you take it once, you're going to take it a lot. So I guess no more Mr. Nice Guy. You're there to win, and that's what those other guys are there for. I believe we're going to have an outstanding APC series once again this year. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. And over on the Pinty side, it's good now because there's a lot of the older guys are out of this, and the new guys like yourself are coming in. You don't have to worry about pulling up beside that guy that maybe your dad made mad back in the day, and the guy looks and sees that number and goes, I got to get that guy. There is no more of that. All those old guys are pretty well washed up and gone now.
I don't think Scott ever made anybody mad.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think he did. Just
Sure.
by being so fast.
Well, and that, right? Yeah, they couldn't. He was an incredible racer. Still is, in my mind. Scott Steckly, man, Kyle, you're falling right in his footsteps. You're doing a great job, and I know we all can't wait to see you on the racetrack in whatever car you get in. This is going to be kind of cool, bud.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, it's cool to run in the Pinty series because I've been following it since I was just a little kid with my dad. So, you know, I know the guys who are racing it. I know how the guys race. So I can go out there and I can be rough to some of the guys that I know they'd be like that to me. So it's cool following that series forever, and now I'm getting to race in it. So that's a pretty cool opportunity.
Sponsorship on your cars. Who have you got? And have you got room for more?
Yeah, we've got lots of great sponsors. Obviously, APC Auto Parts Centers is one of the biggest sponsors in Ontario. They do so much for a sport, and grateful for them coming on board. This is going to be their second year with us, and we've been growing our partnership and just hope to keep our relationship growing and continue on for many years. We have Pennzoil coming on board this year, which is really, really cool through APC Auto Parts, and that's going to be a cool partnership that I hope to carry on for many years as well. Obviously, we've got tons of returning sponsors that have been with me for many years, like Quick Wick Fire Starters, AW Millwrights, Stewart's Equipment, a ton of local sponsors that have been with me for years, the local Milverton Food Town, Milverton Car Wash, Triple B Spraying, SPS Metals, the list goes on of people and supporters that I have behind me that I have had behind me for a long time. So without them, none of it would be possible, and just ready to get back to the track and, you know, get their stickers to victory lane.
You want to believe it. I can see you doing that a bunch this year. Kyle, thanks so much for the time tonight on Race Time Radio. please do us a favor. Say hi to the old boy and your mom, and say hi to the guys, and we all look forward to seeing you at the Speedway.
Will do. Thank you.
You betcha. That is Kyle Steckly. What an amazing driver. If you haven't seen Kyle go, wait. You just wait till you see him fly around any of the APC tracks. And, of course, in the NASCAR Pinty Series, Junior, I believe that guy's got a shot to win. That isn't a stretch.
No, it's definitely not a stretch. They're gonna bring everything that they've got to the racetrack, and he was a threat to win last year. If you look at how good of a year J.R. Fitzpatrick had, typically the year that Steckly had would have won the championship in a late model series.
Sure.
I mean, he top fived them to death, right? And ran extremely good races all the way through. Really, there was 4 guys last year that had amazing seasons in APC, and that's difficult to have. Usually if somebody has a Cinderella year like JR, the rest of the field doesn't.
Right.
But you look at J.R. Fitzpatrick, you look at Josh Stoddy, you look at Rick Walt, and you look at Kyle Steckly. Those 3 behind JR had wicked years.
They sure did.
They stacked up top 3s, they stacked up top 5s, and that's what it takes to go out and win. Obviously, you got to end up in victory lane. And that's where J.R. Fitzpatrick kind of separated the bunch. But Steckly has got the chance and the opportunity to do that very thing.
Sure does.
He's got every bit of good equipment as J.R. He's got the knowledge on the pit box with the group of guys that he's got. And he's a heck of a wheelman. And
that 29 car, too. We got to throw his name in there. That 29.
Ryan Kimball?
Watch out. Kimball's going to do some stuff.
I am not saying anything.
He is right there.
The consistency.
I know.
The
That's all that he's missing.
And the execution. Those guys there, I think that they would class it the same way. The thing that they were missing last year was execution. Obviously, it was like they started on the pole every single night, it seemed.
You see?
It was, they were always in the redraw. They had speed every week, but very short run speed,
Yeah.
By the time you reached that lap 35 mark, they had somebody charging through the field and was charging to their back bumper.
Right.
And that seemed to be their Achilles heel. They brought a race car to the racetrack that was lights out fast for a short period of time. And, if they could get over that hump and be fast at the end.
Oh, he's going to win a ton of races.
He'd win a ton of races.
Yep.
And we've seen what we've seen in 2021 at the end of the year at Autumn Colors. I thought that's where the 29 really came to life at Peterborough Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, heading into 22, like he's going to be tough. And unfortunately, it was just not that way, and a difficult deal. The names that I'm going to be watching out for in the APC Tour, very similar to last year. Rick Walt, I think he's got a wicked program put together.
Yep.
Kyle Steckly, J.R. Fitzpatrick, Stoddy, you got to throw him in there.
Yep.
A name that might be a little bit a surprise to some is Chase Pinsono. He has done some really cool things in Superstock. Really great program put together in the late model side. And Sheridan. Sheridan has got a program. Last year they were with Whitey. They have now left Whitey and they've went back to McCall's.
Okay.
And changed up their program dramatically by the sounds of it. So that there is going to be a big program change. But also kind of a return home, if you will, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that both McCall and Sheridan have something to prove to each other. And that's a dangerous combo because he had speed at the 50% mark of every race, but he didn't have speed at the end.
Yeah.
And so it was really interesting to see. And I think that, that group of 5 drivers is going to be your favorites at every one of these races that we go to. But I think that at each individual track, there's an additional 3 or 4 that get sprinkled in there. Whether it be Andrew Griselle at Sauble Speedway or whether it be Ray Morneau. I think he's going to do some really cool things at Delaware Speedway next year.
Yeah.
Names like that will get sprinkled in throughout the year. And even Jordan House at Sunset Speedway, right?
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of the local guys that are not going to be full-time in the Pinty or in the APC series, but are lights out good at certain
And they're going to focus in and try and get the W. So many good names, so many good teams. The Practice Media Day comes up next weekend at Delaware Speedway. We'll try and get you some more information. I know we'll have more competitors on as we get closer to the start of the year. The lights just flickered at the Racetime Radio studio. We got monsoons coming in. Hopefully we stay with you all night long here. If we go away, you'll know it was the power goddess. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, Andrew Ranger. We're going to talk NASCAR Pinties with a 2-time champion. 3-time? 3-time. Look at that. He won another one. 3-time champion. He's going to be with us next. Stay with us.
Hey race fans, this is Larry Barrio, and you're listening to Racetime Radio on SiriusXM, channel 167, Canada Talk.
You're listening to Canada Talks.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by RPM Race Parts. Order today, race tomorrow. Also by VP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. And by Dawson Dental Centers. Get your victory lane smile at dawsondental.ca. It's Canada's kickoff to 2023 at Penticton Speedway. It's the second annual Western Rattler 300 weekend.
If you build it, they will come.
Friday, May 5th, it's qualifying, plus the Street Stock Viper 100 and the Westcar Snakebite 125. The top 3 will qualify and move on to the 300. Then Saturday, May 6th, it's the 300 last chance qualifier, plus the Street Stock Venom 100 and the second annual Western Rattler 300. It's Canada's richest to win pro late model event with $20,000 to the winner. For tickets and info, get to PentictonSpeedway.com or tune in live on Racetime Radio for live flight-to-flight coverage.
Riley Siebert, the winner. This is my own, not coming here to push me around, and this is probably the biggest win of my career.
May 5th and 6th, the best in the business will be at Penticton Speedway at the Western Rattler 300.
When you think NASCAR, think SiriusXM NASCAR Radio.
This may be the most important thing that's ever happened.
You're damn right, baby.
The races.
The Daytona 500 win.
I love that we have playoff racing now.
The talk shows.
We'd love for you guys to participate as well.
The unprecedented access.
Well, I'm here at the red carpet with the fans.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Chastain did a video game move.
Also streaming on the SXM app.
I think they're happy down here.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how.
VP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
Nothing connects like country music.
Country music.
Dig in to SiriusXM's Country Universe. The next generation on the highway, Channel 56.
I need something you.
This millennium's hits on Y2 Country, Channel 61. Or 80s and 90s prime country on Channel 58.
Play me some mountain.
Tap into these and more in the country category on the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
A Canadian that made an indelible mark across the world, Alex Trebek is best known as the host of Jeopardy, a show he hosted over 6,300 times since his debut in 1984. Alex won 5 Emmy Awards over that stretch and is still perhaps the most popular game show host of all time. His work with charities such as World Vision was tireless, and his foundation continues to benefit benefit children across the globe. Alex Trebek, 2006 inductee on Canada's Walk of Fame.
Taking you all the way to the track and back. It's Race Time Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio, all live tonight on SiriusXM, channel 167, Canada Talks. Hello to everybody watching on RevTV or the Performance Motorsport Network.com, your head country radio. There's a whole pile of outlets out there for Race Time Radio. And don't forget to stop by our YouTube channel at RaceTimeRadioTV. And please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's building each and every week. It builds a little bit more, all thanks to you. And we'll keep the content coming at you. We've got a real good guest coming up here. Andrew Ranger is going to be here with us shortly. We'll talk NASCAR Pinties with Andrew Ranger. Of course, Junior is the spotter for that 27 car. You all ready to go? Have you been talking to Andrew lately?
I haven't. No, it's been a while, actually.
So you're going to learn a little bit tonight, too?
Yeah, I'll learn a little bit, see what he's been up to. And, yeah, definitely. It's we're getting there on the cusp of the season, obviously. The team is going to look a lot different next year, really. For the 27 team. Caden Lapsovich has, of course, moved on and has moved on to Venturini down south. And, so we're going to have a different crew chief on top of the box. But that being said, we've also got some really brand new equipment coming out of the WMI stable, and it's a totally different looking deal than what last year was, and couldn't be more excited heading into it.
Same combination in behind the wheel and up in the sky. Going to be a good deal. We got the number 27, Andrew Ranger, with us now from Rocks Pond, Quebec. What's going on there, Andrew? You're looking good, kiddo. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Yourselves, guys?
Doing good. Doing good. Are you all ready for another season? How many seasons is this now for you in NASCAR Canada?
Oh, my God. I started in 07, so it's a long time. I did the first race there in Cayuga, so it's a long time, but I'll always enjoy it.
Well, you got a lot of W's. You got 3 championships, and there's no sign of you slowing down anytime soon. As Junior was just mentioning, you got some new hardware going underneath you this year. That's going to be interesting. Do you get excited, Andrew, when you got new cars coming, or do you get kind of tentative going, oh, man, new cars, we got to set them up. We got to, get the feel. Maybe it's going to feel different. Are you excited, or are you tentatively excited?
No, I'm more exciting. I think it's awesome just to have a brand new car, brand new road course, brand new oval. It's something that for a champion, for a racer, this is awesome. I have a great crew this year. This is amazing. And last year it was more an experience, something new for everybody. New team, new crew chief, new cars, sponsored by Chevrolet, Payet. So everything was a little bit tough for us, but a lot of fun. We learned a lot. But we came back this year with brand new stuff, 2 cars in the team, me and Glenn Stoward. So I think it's got to be a lot of fun, and I'm ready to go this year.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. And to see even the success you had last year for a deal that got put together in the late stages to debut in 2022, to see you go out there and be able to pull off victory was pretty amazing, when you take a look at it. So good on you for doing what you did last year. Now you got this year new cars. You got different guy going on top of the box this year. You got some new elements to the team, and you're excited. That's got to be a double whammy for everybody in the series.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like you say, last year, that deal came pretty late, and David White did amazing, put together a deal with Jean-Claude Payet and me. So everything was okay. We did really good. We won. We did some podium, too, with a car that was not supposed to be in the top 5 almost. But we did really, really well. And my spotter did a great job, too, So, but we came back this year with again, Chevrolet, Payet, with all our supporters that been on board for this year, last year too. So it's amazing to start with a brand new car, The guys that they are there with us this year, I think they are amazing, and we have all the element to put together to do well this year in the championship.
When you look at heading into 2000, right before the pandemic, right before the pandemic, you were the Mopar 27 with DJK, with Whitey on the pit box. Myself, I was your spotter. The core group that we had, the nucleus that we had, it was a wicked, well-oiled machine, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of. And last year was like that, but Whitey was pulled in a million different directions, right? Because he had a ton of cars that were under his purview. And he was also, pulled in different directions at the racetrack. Couldn't spend, 100% of his time working with Andrew Ranger. And when Whitey and Ranger work together, it is something to be seen. Whitey and Ranger have this chemistry. It's like when Ranger says that the car is loose, he could say like a 5 loose or a 6 loose. But Whitey understands exactly what that means,
right,
and then makes the adjustment. Doesn't over adjust, doesn't under adjust, and that can happen, after practice session number 1, or it can happen when we come down to get tires, or it can happen with 50 laps to go and we get a flat and we make an adjustment, and Ranger can diagnose it. Whitey can make it happen, and that puts a lot of excitement into the team, and it should, because man, it's gonna be a fun year.
I am. It's true. Well, like you say, it's definitely true. Same thing with you, Joe. Spotter, it's very important in that series, and it's a whole team. It's not just me and Whitey. It's definitely the team, the spotter. The crew, everybody need to be together, and I think this year we definitely have something to prove, but to be good on the track right now.
Andrew, when you look at all the tracks that you race on in the NASCAR Pinty Series, is there one track, or is there more than one track that you go, oh, good, I can't wait to get to this track. I've got a really good shot at this one. And on the flip side of that, is there one track that you go, oh, my God, we got to go back there. I need to survive this. I'd really like to win it, but I really want to survive it. Is there one of the other?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll let Ranger. We'll let Ranger answer. We'll let Ranger answer this one, and then I'll tell the truth after.
But I think the place that I need to survive, and we're always fast there, but the last, I think, 5 years, it's been very difficult. It's definitely Mosport, Canadian Tire track. It's been very, very tough. We're always in the top 5, top 3. We fight for the lead, and something broke at the end, or engine problem, or whatever. So it's that place where we definitely need to survive and finish the race there,
Yeah.
And the track that I really like, Toronto, it's the kind of track that I feel comfortable. Very aero, very, very tight, technical. This is the track I really like. Another track that I like, it's Saskatoon. Every time we've been there, we were fast. We won. We finished second. It's a track that I very feel comfortable. But a track that it's been very tough for me, and there I need to finish. It's Three Rivers, Trois-Rivières, the GP3R. I won there 4 or 5 times. I finished second 4 or 5 times. But the last 5 years, I think it's been disaster for me. I didn't finish the race there. Again, something broke. So right there, it's a track that normally I do well, but it seems to be a little bit more difficult for us for the last few years.
Now, is there a special spot on that racetrack that's a problem at GP3R, or is it just random stuff that would take place?
I don't know. People are, I think drivers are a little bit crazy with 3, 4, 5 laps to go, and it's so tight. First corner, second corner, the corner number 3, where it's you need to pass the end of the arch, so it's there where it's very, very difficult. But I don't know. It's been tough, but I just pray that I can finish the race there and gain some point.
Well, and 60, 70,000 people that show up at GP3R, they absolutely love that, and the NASCAR Pinty Series is the headline that weekend. Make no mistake, Those fans are showing up to see you guys. It's not like, when you go to Toronto, it's the Honda Indy Toronto, and, NASCAR's on the schedule. It's a good added value, but really the fans that are going to see the Indy cars. Not so at GP3R. They are specifically coming to see you guys. It's got to be a huge honor to win at that track, especially when you got LP Dumoulin, you got yourself, you got...
but this is the problem there. Like, all the Quebecer drivers need to win. Their sponsors are there, friends are there. It's like you said, it's amazing. The camping there is sold out. People are showing up there. It's amazing. It's a family sport. It's a great event for us at Quebec at the GP3R.
So we're with Andrew Ranger, driver of the number 27 in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Going to go at it again in 2023 and chase a 4th championship is what he's hoping to do. Looking at the new schedule this year, you got a couple of dirt races now instead of one at the Big O. Now you got 2. What's that do to the psyche? I know you have experience on dirt. You've won on dirt. How about the NASCAR Pinties going twice on the Big O?
Yeah, this is awesome. I think it's great for the sport to be there twice. It's amazing track. Only thing, it's very different. Like, I'm used to a dirt modified car. A lot of body rolling, we say. A lot of traction. But last year it was so slippery for us. It was like if we were racing on the rain. Like very, very slippery. So I just hope this year they do a good work at the track so we can run a little bit higher, or on the bottom we can play with the car a little bit, but we'll see. But I'm very excited. It's an awesome place to be. Glenn did a great job last year. It was sold out. The fireworks there, it was very crazy and a lot of fun.
I think it was Dexter Stacy Jr. that said to us, I asked him about the 2 races at the Big O, and he said the setup that they had in the car last year was a dirt setup. He said, I'm not doing that this year. I'm going to put a asphalt setup in it, and it's probably going to go better.
Yeah.
One thing for sure, these Pinty's teams are all going to have the notes from last year that are really going to help this year. I expect a huge race.
Yeah, there was a lot of unknowns, right? There was a tremendous amount of unknowns, and Monday night was a little bit of a tease for a lot of teams, right? So Monday night, the way that the track was prepped, it was prepped for 360 and for 410 or for crate sprint cars. And we got a test session where you could go out there and set a fast time and get some good money. And they paid back, a few positions. They allowed you to, it's not that they allowed you to, it was, you could do whatever you wanted. It was just a wide open test session.
Right.
So there was teams that prepped their tires a little bit different than you would with a dirt car. And there was a lot of teams that dialed themselves out on Monday night and figured that they went into Tuesday in a much better position than what they were, because the way that the track was prepped for Tuesday now, it had been packed in so good the night before that the track hardened up instantly, and the track really turned into it was basically asphalt, just polished.
A bumpy asphalt track.
And when you look at the guys who did well, they would slide the car sideways a little bit when they needed to, but really their car was straight 99% of the time, and really it was it was asphalt setups that won that race.
Yeah.
Now heading into this year, I think that Glenn and the guys, because Glenn was behind the wheel, and I think the entire team at Oshweekend learned a lot on how to prep the racetrack, and I think that they're going to prep it a little bit different than what we've seen this year. I think that the teams are going to come with a way thicker notebook on what to do, and I think that you're going to see better racing both nights, and if not the Monday night, the second night will be fantastic, because the racing will be very similar on 2 very similar racetracks, as long as the weather plays well and is similar.
Yeah. Yep. Andrew, what will you do to prepare? Will you do anything different to prepare for those pair on the dirt? Will you get out and try and run a few races on dirt before you go? I know last year, I believe, there was you and a couple other drivers popped in. I think, was it Cornwall? You guys got into a car? I can't remember, but I seem to remember you got a little bit of experience before going on.
But we are lucky, actually. Our team, Jean-Claude Payet Racing, have a third team, too, with David Hebert, small block and big block. And me and Marc-Antoine Camera have the chance to race in Granby, Drummondville, and Cornwall. So it was a great experience. I really like dirt. You know, my dad raced dirt modified for 27 years. So I raced a big block, too, with this car. And it's a lot of fun. It's great. It's just with the NASCAR, it's very different driving style. You know, it's so slippery. You need to be smooth, and you can really use the high groove, you know, the groove on the outside. But it's a lot of fun, though. I enjoy it.
Well, it's halfway through the season, but things are all going to get kicked off at Sunset Speedway. You all set for Sunset? Will you get any test time in before you hit Sunset Speedway to kick off the year?
Yeah, we are going to test maybe next week or very, very soon. The car are preparing by David White is working really hard, and I think everything seems to be really close right now. So I'm very excited. I'm ready to go. I've been training really hard, and I'm so excited. I think it's going to be a fun season.
Did you get much in through the off season? What were you up to all off season? Did you have some fun?
A lot of snowmobile, my friend. A lot of snowmobile. Yes, I've been testing snowmobile for BRP off trail, and I have a college in the north of Quebec at Chicoutimi, and it's there where we have a lot of snow, and been doing that for the last 5 years or 6, I think. So I've been training to do that, then testing some snowmobile parts, and right now it's time to race NASCAR and different thing right now.
Absolutely. Looks like you've been hitting the tanning beds. You were all tanned up. Looks like you were in the south all summer or all winter.
My God, I don't know the weather there in Toronto. I can tell you something. Here in Montreal, it's been like 30 degrees for the last 4 days, so I take a lot of sun today.
Yeah, it was beautiful here too, but trust me, it's all coming to an end. Reality comes back in tomorrow, my friend.
Same thing. I know that. Same thing.
Yeah, gonna be wild. I know we'll all pout, but racing is coming. Andrew, gotta thank you for the time tonight on Race Time Radio. I know we're all jazzed up for another season, and pretty cool to hear you're going to be back in at full tilt and going after that next championship. That's kind of cool.
Exactly, sir. I'm ready to win another championship. I think we have all the puzzle to win, and I will do my best and try to do my best for all the races, and I think my spotter Joe will do well too. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Hey, you get those $350 jeans all ironed out. It's ready for summer, man. We gotta spend some time in Victory Lane.
Oh yeah. We'll buy maybe a new pair.
Yeah, new pair. Yeah, one new pair. Yeah.
Incredible. Andrew, thanks so much for the time. You have a good one. I can't wait to hear the stories after the next victory where you're telling guys at the gas pump, hey, I won the race.
There you go, sir. I won the race. I'm the Saskatoon winner.
You're the man. You have a good one. Thanks for the time. That's Andrew Ranger.
Much.
Watch for him in the 27th and in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Junior, you guys are always in for a load of fun with that guy.
Oh yeah, he's just a gas man. It's
all business when he's behind the wheel, but outside the car he's a hoot.
100%. But if you listen to us and you tune in, he is 100% business behind the wheel. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he definitely keeps it light. You know, he is every bit as good as a telemetry computer. When you listen to how he breaks the car down, and what he needs out of a car.
And the key is translating what he's saying, and by the sounds of it, Whitey is magic at that.
Absolutely. And the thing that I really respect about Andrew Ranger, obviously he's a great guy and all that stuff off the racetrack. But the thing that I really respect about Andrew Ranger is that I have seen him take a car that is a 6th to 7th place car and win with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not once, not twice.
And not using anybody yet to go do that.
4 or 5 times now where you see guys try to do that and they get in over their head. And they create chaos on the racetrack, and they create damage, and they create wrecks. Ranger doesn't do that.
Right.
Not to say that he hasn't been in wrecks and stuff, but he doesn't go out there and overdrive the car to the point where it hurts everybody else's day.
Right.
He finds a place and if his car is 2/10 off running the bottom, running a conventional line, he will go find those 2/10 on the racetrack.
He'll find that line that makes it work.
He'll find the ugliest line on the racetrack, but it will work.
Yeah.
And, it's incredible to watch. There's a reason why he's got the most wins all time. There's a reason why he's got the most poles all time. He can lay down a lap, but he can also race. His racecraft is incredible, and I'm really looking forward to working with him again this year, and with Whitey on the box and Wilcox and all those guys involved. I think we got a really good shot at a championship, and I think even better than we've ever had. So it's going to be really cool.
And it all starts at Sunset Speedway. And it's only a few weeks, and things are going to be underway. We're going to hit this break. When we come back, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when we get back.
Hi, this is Tony Stewart, and you're listening to Race Time Radio.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Leaf Racewear. Fuel your passion and confidence at leafracewear.com. We're an essential part of any team. And by Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Canada's biggest sports car racing weekends of the year. For tickets and details, get to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com. It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick Fire Starters have fueled the sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick Fire Starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick Fire Starters. No harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick Fire Starters, the world's best fire starter. It's Canada's kickoff to 2023 at Penticton Speedway. It's the second annual Western Rattler300 weekend.
If you build it, they will come.
Friday, May 5th, it's qualifying, plus the Street Stock Viper 100 and the Westcar Snakebite 125. The top three will qualify and move on to the 300. Then Saturday, May 6th, it's the 300 Last Chance Qualifier, plus the Street Stock Venom 100 and the second annual Western Rattler300. It's Canada's richest to win pro late model event, with $20,000 to the winner. For tickets and info, get to PentictonSpeedway.com or tune in live on Racetime Radio for live flight-to-flight coverage.
Riley Siebert, the winner. This is my own, not coming here to push me around, and this is probably the biggest win of my career.
May 5th and 6th, the best in the business will be at Penticton Speedway at the Western Rattler300.
Hey everyone, this is World Series champions Lance McCullers Jr. and Carlos Correa. We're excited to announce that our podcast, The Walkout, is now available on SiriusXM.
Each episode, we go inside the world of combat sports, providing hardcore analysis, honest opinions, and top picks for every fight.
If you share the same passion for combat sports as we do, you need to listen to The Walkout.
Episodes are available on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcasts.
RevTV, your motorsports and automotive destination. Watch live races from around the world and right here at home, from 2 wheels to 4 and so much more. RevTV is your source for motorsports. RevTV features exclusive race series, up-to-date news coverage, documentaries, how-to programs, and adrenaline-filled lifestyle programs 24/7. Go green with RevTV. Contact your TV provider to order.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is fueled by AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
If you're a Springsteen fan, you just found the promised land. Hear rare interviews and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs.
This is Rob Lowe. Hey, baby, it's Little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to E Street Radio, your home away from home.
Great to be here.
E Street Radio, SiriusXM Channel 20.
Explore the musical world of an American rock and roll troubadour on his very own channel.
Tom Petty Radio.
All of Tom's music, influences, collaborations.
This is Tom Petty here on the Barry Treasure Show.
Heartbreakers hosted shows.
Check out my show, The Breakdown with Mike Campbell.
And more.
It's Tom Petty Radio.
Channel 31.
It's all right.
And in the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Did you know you could get home and away feeds for every NFL, NBA, and NHL game on your phone?
I can't believe it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SXM app. Sports the way they're meant to be heard, with your hometown announcers just a tap away. Search for your team, then tap the star on the corner of the screen and save it as your favorite.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
And if you love college sports, when the game is on, just search for your school. It's always a home game when you listen to sports on the SXM app. Free for most subscribers.
We're just getting started. That's right. Joe hasn't stuck his foot in his mouth yet. But hang tight, it's coming. Now, back to more Race Time Radio and Joe Chisholm.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio, all live tonight on SiriusXM Channel 167, Canada Talks. And hello to everybody tuned in on RevTV. Welcome aboard. We got Jason White coming up here next. And as a matter of fact, he's on the Zoom line right now. So I'm going to get enough time to ask you one question. Then I got to throw it to Toronto for the news update. And then we're going to keep going. How does that sound, Jay?
That sounds good. How you doing, Joe?
Good, good. How about you? How's Sun Peaks, BC today?
Not very sunny. It's snowing.
So, you got a little snow happening?
Yeah, ski hill closed last weekend, so we don't really need snow anymore. We want it to all melt.
Yeah, well, it's all going to melt where you're going, heading to Talladega. I know you've been itching to get to back in that 44 car and get back on a super speedway. This has got to be great news.
Yeah, I've finally gotten over it. I can finally sleep at night, but really looking forward to getting back there and getting back in that 44 car for sure.
Well, I can well imagine. Jay, you did such a good job at Daytona International Speedway, and no real surprise. You have been building on this for the last, 3 years in super speedways?
About 4 years. 4 years in the super speedways, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it takes, right? You don't just jump in one of these cars and go out there and do what you did the last time out at Daytona. That takes experience. It takes time. And you got to have friends around you, too. And I know they didn't play with you right off turn 4, but throughout the course of the day, they did. You had more cooperation than you did at any other race that you've that I've seen you run. It looked a lot better this time around.
Yeah, I think more than anything, they know the car. You know, Jeff McClure puts out a really good piece, and he's a mad scientist in the shop. He can't stop working on it, even though it's ready to load up on the trailer. He can't stop working on it. He's always finding just little minute things to just make it better. So I think people know that the car is fast, and then once they have the confidence to know that they can race around me without worrying about, I'm not going to do really harsh moves and not going to do anything stupid, so to speak. I think that's the biggest thing, is people start to get comfortable around you and they don't see that yellow stripe, which I haven't had for a few years now. So
yeah. Well, it's all going to pay dividends. This is going to be kind of cool when we get to Talladega coming up on the weekend. It's what day are you jumping aboard the aircraft and heading?
I'm actually heading out on Wednesday, just in case there's any flight stuff going on. There's a lot of that going on these days, so I'm going down a day or two ahead of time, and we're on track on Friday. It's kind of odd. ARCA does some weird qualifying stuff. We're in a practice session, and then they're setting the field by points from last year. So we're lining up 18th, but I'll be up 3 wide before you know it.
No, absolutely. We're going to throw it to Toronto. We got to do this news update. Takes 90 seconds, everybody. Then we're going to spend some more time with Jason White as he prepares for Talladega Super Speedway in that ARCA Menards 44 car. It's going to be incredible, and we're going to have more with Jay. We'll step out, do this quick 90 seconds, and we will be back all live with you tonight on Race Time Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, Channel 167.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Leaf Racewear. Fuel your passion and confidence at leafracewear.com. We're an essential part of any team. And by Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Canada's biggest sports car racing weekends of the year. For tickets and details, get to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com.
When you think NASCAR, think SiriusXM NASCAR Radio.
This may be the most important thing that's ever happened.
You're damn right, baby.
The races.
The Daytona 500 win.
I love that we have playoff racing now.
The talk shows.
We'd love for you guys to participate as well.
The unprecedented access.
Well, I'm here at the red carpet with the fans.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Chastain did a video game move.
Also streaming on the SXM app.
I think they're happy down here.
We're back with hour number 2 of Race Time Radio.
With the two Joes.
Here on Race Time Radio.
On SiriusXM 167.
Where Canada talks.
And just like that, we are back, and everybody's up to date on all their news. We are joined with Jason White from Sun Peaks, BC, getting his car all ready to go, the 44 in the ARCA Menard Series. You don't want to miss this race at Talladega. It's going to be a barn burner. Jason, did they have to do much to the Daytona car? There wasn't a mark on it as far as I know. You handed them back a pristine piece. Did they have to do much to prepare for Talladega?
We did get a little bit of a door slam there from my Canadian counterpart, but she coming out of 4 there, we got a door slam. But you know what? I really believe that helped us. It was right behind the left front tire, and it knocked it in about 5 inches, and that's actually the point where I shot up into the lead on the next lap and was racing for the lead. So yeah, we just had that little bit of damage, and there was some damage on the rear bumper just from drafting. From bump drafting. I learned this February that the bump drafting, the real bump drafting, like knock your molars loose. And Greg Van Alst hit me a couple times where, I felt it come all the way through the car and through my hands on the steering wheel. And I felt the 2 car hit me really hard one time. So there was some damage on the rear bumper cover and stuff like that, but nothing big. No, it was very minor. Lots of maintenance, and then just change the setup just a little bit for Talladega. Not a lot is different, but it is a wider and longer track, so maybe a little bit more leg in the gear, things like that. But again, we're not qualifying, so it's just get up there, and I just can't wait to get on the outside again and try and get up to the front. You can go 3 wide for lap after lap at Talladega. So last year, Tad Moffitt drove this car, and he was on the outside the whole time. So we're hoping to get up there and move up to the front as soon as we can and stay out of the carnage and just be in that top 5 and be in second place at the white flag this time.
Yeah. Is that the plan? You don't want to maybe be leading on that final lap, or is it different at Talladega versus Daytona? You've raced on both, so you got experience on both.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Bell is my spotter, and I'm just going to be listening to him again. I always say just listen to those guys. They're a hell of a lot better at racing than I am. So I'll just listen to what TJ says. If we're in the lead this time, I'm going to be making some moves back and forth and dragging the brake a little bit more. But we got to get there. That's going to be the focus. Get there, get to the lead, get to the lead 3 or 4 anyways, and race up there and see who wants to work with us a bit. Jeff's already talked to a couple of cars, and they know now that we're fast. And,
they know
I'm not gonna make a stupid move. I could have made a stupid move going into turn 3 and wrecked myself and wrecked the whole entire field.
Sure.
And wrecked a bunch of race cars. So I just want to get the opportunity back again.
Oh, you're gonna. You're creating your own opportunities, Jay. You always have, and you always will. You're one of those drivers that the other guys can trust. They got to know that now. In the same respect, you're there to win, so are they, and you know that they are there to win. They're not going to say, well, Jay's a good guy. We're going to let him go on through. Let's push him through. They're going to try and do everything but wreck you to get the win. And I guess it's got to be, right, Junior? You've been to lots of Daytona races. You want to be maybe that guy in second or third spot. How many times have we seen the guy leading the final lap didn't win the race?
Yeah, definitely. If you're third or second, depends on what the lines look like, but if you're second, third, or fourth, if it's 3 wide out back and the leader's trying to control the line, you're kind of in the catbird seat if you're behind the leader. It's you're able to use the leader's draft, and the further out the leader gets, the more chance you have at collecting the run and getting the momentum. The momentum thing, is something that the restrictor plate racing has changed and evolved into monitoring momentum as opposed to monitoring where the cars are on the racetrack, right? It's you can create momentum, you can create that pressure in front of the car or beside the car with side drafting or bumper to bumper drafting, and it's so interesting to me, Jay, to watch you out there. When you watch a guy that on a restrictor plate track, you're trying to think of what they're thinking of behind the wheel.
Right.
As a fan, you kind of do the same thing when you're cheering for your favorite football team or your favorite basketball team or whatever. But in a restrictor plate situation, you try to look at them and think, what are they thinking with this, this movement, or what are they thinking with this motion? A lot of it just comes down to protecting your momentum and trying to keep it up.
Try to do whatever you can.
And it is so much more fun to watch somebody that or somebody that you sponsor, or somebody that you have sponsored, or somebody that you've met, out there in the draft. It just gives me goosebumps when I watch you out there at Daytona, or when I would work for a guy like Landon or Michael McDowell or any of them. When you know the person that's out there, it is so exciting. As a fan, as a friend, as a whatever, as a crew member or an employee, it is such a different experience, and looking back at Daytona, Jay, you did everything right. That's the craziest part about it is that you can play that devil's advocate all day long. But really, it's so interesting to hear your optimism heading into Talladega, but also to hear your understanding of what happened, right? So it's a tremendous amount of fun, and I think that when you get back down there, when you get up and dangling on the top side with a fast race car, this time it's going to be really interesting, and Talladega better watch out.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up that, and it's kind of called the energy line, wherever the energy is, and your spotter's got to kind of tell you, where the energy is coming from. But one thing that TJ taught me in Daytona, and I've always been kind of scared to do it, I'm not afraid to admit it, but the side draft, especially in the middle of the corner, not necessarily going down the back straightaway, but when you go down and he's like, okay, you got to get on his door, and you're like, you got to make a fairly aggressive move to get down on the door. But when you get down on their door and you move back up, you feel that little bit of energy that you gained. And then if the guy behind you did the same thing, or the girl behind you did the same thing, you gained the energy in that line. And I think that's what that top line did a lot of in Daytona. So, and there was a couple times where I was side drafting going down the back straightaway. And I think I pulled 4 car lengths by myself a couple times just doing the side draft. I did it on the first car, and then I went up and I did it on the next car, and I did it on the next car. And I actually advanced 4 or 5 car lengths going down the back straightaway there. So that's all stuff that you just learn, and you just can't wait to get back and try it again, because, I've said it before, it's not real hard to drive these cars by yourself on the track. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not really that hard to drive them. But when you get in the air and you get going 195 miles an hour, and you got 30 other cars around you, that's a bit of a different game.
Oh, absolutely. Jay, when you were going down the back stretch at Daytona on that final lap and you were out front, I was watching it, and, Sue and I were screaming at the television. I'm going, Jason White's going to win this. A couple more words in their race. Go, Jay, go. We were screaming, and it looks so good going into turn 3, and then all of a sudden the energy on that outside, boom, 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 and away it goes. Now, when 2 guys do the bump draft, and you say, like, they hit so hard you could feel it right through the car. If it's square, that's not a problem, right? Like, that's what you want? Or is that hitting too hard?
Well, one thing you got to be careful of, and this is another thing I learned from Josh Williams spotted for me. I don't know who Josh is spotting for now, but he was spotting for Ryan Blaney when he spotted for me. And one of the first things he ever taught me was you're going to get the hit. Don't be holding on to the steering wheel too hard when you know there's a hit coming. So he's going to let you know there's one coming, and you got to almost just wiggle your fingers really lightly on the steering wheel, because you'll react, and that reaction is going to make you lose control. So you almost got to let them hit you and let the car take the hit without putting any steering wheel input into it,
right?
And just be very light hands on the steering wheel, which is kind of really hard to do, because but it does prove to you that you don't really have to, like when you go into turn 2 or turn 3, or sorry, turn 1 or turn 3 at Daytona or Talladega, you don't put much steering wheel into it. The banking actually turns you more than anything. So you don't actually, put more than about a half an inch of wheel into it. So you got to be careful when they're hitting you, because you could crash yourself just from the bump draft.
Jason, talking a little bit more about the side draft and stuff like that. When you mentioned that you picked up 3 or 4 positions, and passed 3 or 4 cars when you would do it, when you would side draft, and be the one to put the air on them. When somebody would do it to you, do you feel it bog the car down? Like, do you feel the car really chug down, or is it more so that they get the momentum and it doesn't really hurt you? It's just they get the momentum.
No, there's a sound change, and also it tries to yaw you. It tries to kind of pitch you a little bit, because if you think about, you're going, you're like geese going through the air, and the the area between the car and the air becomes about 4 feet there. That's kind of neutral, and that's why you can gain in that spot, because it's become neutral. So if you think all of a sudden somebody takes up that space, then all of a sudden when they take off, you got kind of get a little bit. You got to be careful, because that'll pull you sideways. So that you got to be aware of as well. So, which is why I kind of like being on the high side more than being on the low side.
Yeah. We're with Jason White tonight. He is getting prepared next weekend. He is going to be at Talladega Superspeedway. He's going to drive the 44 in the ARCA series, the same car he drove at Daytona for the ARCA 200, and just about won the damn thing. Jason's going to start 18th. Or about 18th, right? Where did you start at Daytona? I can't remember. You were back a ways, though, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. We were in 21st, I think. We had a motor change on Thursday night, and we had to change a starter about 5 minutes before qualifying, and we didn't have a very good qualifying session. So we started near the back end. I actually, after my pit stop, I was just 29.
Yeah.
So we came from the back. There's not as many cars at Talladega as there was at Daytona. I hear there's just under 30, like 28, 29 cars.
Mm-hmm.
And we had well over, we had 37 or 38 cars at Daytona, even more.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit different. And I know, obviously it's going to be the 3 or 4 Venturini cars and the Gibbs cars and the GMS cars. So those guys they're pretty hot, it just with what they got underneath them. So I don't think they're as experienced. But it doesn't matter. They got the team around them, and they got a really fast car. So we just got to pick up, and hopefully we can get with Empire Racing. Apparently they got 2 cars. Sean Core should work well with us, and there's a few other people I've been talking to as well, and hopefully Amber and I can hook up and maybe get to the front. But they get a lot of orders from the Venturinis, and they like to work with the Toyotas. So working with the Chevys, maybe on the last lap.
Yeah, that's when the Canadian flag comes out, right? If it's going to be beneficial, we'll work together. Absolutely. Kind of cool. I didn't know whether Amber was going to be in this race or not. That's kind of cool. If Amber's in, that's cool. I didn't know, but I haven't looked at the entry.
I talked to her at Daytona, and she was doing Daytona Talladega, so I'm pretty sure she's in the show. I think I saw her on the list there, so I hope so.
Yeah,
she had a good run going there. But the funny thing is, we are 2.5 months after the race, and I look back, and I'm a really statistical type guy. 80% of the time at the white flag, there's a wreck.
Yeah.
And it just, that's the part I'm like, I remember crossing the start finish line. I'm looking at my rearview mirror. Okay, now wreck. Like, that's what happens in these races. Now everybody wreck, and we've won the race. And of course, my luck, it didn't happen.
That time it didn't.
Does.
Yeah. Incredible. So are you going to target this any different than you did Daytona, or can you overthink, going into a big weekend like this? Where's the headspace at for this one?
You can definitely overthink. You just got to get out there and see where the cards fall. It's got nothing to do with anything other than, I know the car's ready. The motor is completely fresh. The motor that we lost in practice, actually brand new block, new crank, new pistons, rods, everything, all brand new. So that bullet's fresh. And I know the car is fast. It's been historically fast. I know I drove it fast. So all we got to do is it's like a boxing match, just ding, ding, and let's go. And just let the spotter run the race. It's really, I can't say it enough. The spotters are so important in these races that they just, they control it and they can win it or lose it. And now when I go back and I listen to TJ was yelling at me to back it up more, and I was,
right.
I was, but I was just scared I was going to get run over, right? If I break too much, and but it's just let the spotter do his job and listen to him and just let stay out of the wrecks,
right?
And that's your that's the luck of the Irish, hopefully.
Are you anticipating the spotter saying, Jay, paint that yellow line like you did the last time? Paint that yellow line. Stay down there. Are you expecting that? Does Talladega race the same as what you have at Daytona?
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful at Talladega going through the tri-oval, being right down on the yellow line. I don't know if anybody's been on the simulator before, which it's on the simulator, it's on iRacing. You got to be really careful down there because you'll get unloaded and you'll be going for a ride. So you got to kind of miss it there. But yeah, I mean, if we get up to the lead, he's going to be coaching me to stay down, I'm sure, and just try and log laps, depending on what time of the race it is, whereabouts in the race we are. But yeah, I mean, he's going to tell me to be down there, and then from there, we hopefully get into the position again exactly where we were. That's all I can hope and pray, is just to have that back again, and then just let it play out differently this time, and hopefully get to victory lane.
Sponsorship on the 44. Who is helping you out make all this possible, bud?
Well, we got Decked Out Marine back as a subsidiary sponsor. And we've got a couple other things we're working on. It's Powder Ventures Excavating is always with me, of course, and your GMCTruckstore.com. But we got one thing we're working on here. Jeff McClure Racing is working on. So he's got, hopefully that works out for next weekend. And then going forward, it's more of a sponsorship for next year for Daytona. And we want 2 cars. So we want a partner that we know is going to be there for us. So
yeah, that sounds awesome, bud. We can't tell you how much we appreciate your time coming on here tonight and sharing it with us, the thoughts and everything. You got to know that Canada, the whole country, is going to be pulling for you, and you're going to have more social media followers than you've ever had before, because we all believe in you, Jay White. I have, and I know Junior has since day one. But, man, the whole country believes now, and we wish you all the best. You're going to do it. We're going to save your spot right here on Race Time Radio for after the race next Sunday. We want you to come back on here, and hope to God we're going to celebrate a victory. Sound good to you?
That sounds good to me. I'll take you up on that, and definitely we'll be ready for victory lane if we can get there, and probably be celebrating pretty hard. So yeah, that would be something that would be pretty special. And we're just going to go out and, like I said, see how the cards lay and play our hand, and hopefully we're there at the end again.
No pressure, none at all. No pressure. It's just you, Jay, and your spotter. Forget about us. We are with you in that race car. You can guarantee it. One thing we want to be sure of, and that's safety. Be healthy, be safe. And we will party like there's no tomorrow, no matter where the finish is. You do a great job, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. And, yeah, I'll be following. If you guys could follow along on @Racing Jason White. I'm going to start my platform off on probably Wednesday when I fly down, and get ready and start letting people know what's going on.
I guarantee you we'll be hammering the hell out of it all week long. Jason, good luck.
Right on.
Travel safe, and go get them, man.
Thank you.
You
Have a
bet.
good night, guys.
Jason White, Sun Peaks, BC, is heading to Talladega. Don't miss that race. You can catch it. I believe FS1 is going to have it.
Yep.
So it'll be available all live. It's going to be something else, I can guarantee you. Got to hit a quick break. Noel Dowler. RS1 Cup Series. We're going to talk about it next, right here on Race Time Radio.
Hey race fans, Donald Chisholm from Riverside Speedway in Nova Scotia, and you're listening to Race Time Radio.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM Channel 167. Did you know you could get home and away feeds for every NFL, NBA, and NHL game on your phone?
I can't believe it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SXM app. Sports the way they're meant to be heard, with your hometown announcers just a tap away. Search for your team, then tap the star on the corner of the screen and save it as your favorite.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
And if you love college sports, when the game is on, just search for your school. It's always a home game when you listen to sports on the SXM app. Free for most subscribers.
It's Canada's kickoff to 2023 at Penticton Speedway. It's the second annual Western Rattler300 weekend.
If you build it, they will come.
Friday, May 5th, it's qualifying, plus the Street Stock Viper 100 and the Westcar Snakebite 125. The top three will qualify and move on to the 300. Then Saturday, May 6th, it's the 300 last chance qualifier, plus the Street Stock Venom 100 and the second annual Western Rattler 300. It's Canada's richest to win pro late model event, with $20,000 to the winner. For tickets and info, get to PentictonSpeedway.com or tune in live on Racetime Radio for live flag-to-flag coverage.
Riley Siebert, the winner. This is my house, not coming here to push me around. And this is probably the biggest win of my career.
May 5th and 6th, the best in the business will be at Penticton Speedway at the Western Rattler 300.
What is SiriusXM NASCAR Radio?
Tyler Reddy will go to victory lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You just won at Pinty.
Down here in Victory Lane, let me ask the fans.
It's all.
Joey Logano will set his sights on a championship.
2 times, baby.
Things.
He shoved him up the right track.
Back up on the throttle as he heads to victory.
NASCAR.
Oh, he loses it. He crashes.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Also streaming on the SXM app.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how.
BP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
Soccer is a passion that goes beyond the sport, and SiriusXM FC's podcast, More Than a Game, brings that passion to you.
And you believe it!
In each episode, FC's panel of experts take a deep dive into club histories, iconic grounds,
Anfield has erupted!
bitter rivalries, and so much more.
There's nothing like a derby day in Manchester.
New episodes are available weekly by downloading the SiriusXM app and searching More Than a Game.
From the high banks of Daytona. Cover it all. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal. Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Race Time Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight, all live on SiriusXM Channel 167, Canada Talks, and, of course, on RevTV right across the country. Hello to all the viewers out there. Let's welcome in our next guest on our Zoom line. He comes to us from Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta, to be exact. His name, Noel Dowler. What's going on tonight there, Mr. Dowler? How are you?
Good, guys. Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, you had a good year last year in that RS1 competition. You got a couple of wins. Things look pretty damn good for you.
Yeah, we had a good run last year. The year started off a little tough with 2 DNFs, but after we got through those, we picked up a win in Saskatoon, then Penticton, and some more issues on the road course with another DNF, but third place on the road course there at the end.
Noel, you have been in all different forms of racing, whether it's late models, whether it be NASCAR, Pinty's, Canadian Tire Series, what have you. You've been in all the different forms of tracks as well. What's it like running an RS1 Cup car at Area 27 and then going from the wide vastness of that big, beautiful track down to a quarter mile and the tight bull rings? Do you have a favorite, or does it matter to you?
No, it doesn't matter. The cars are perfectly set up to do both. There's no real disadvantage or advantage between the two tracks, in my opinion. And I could care less if it's a road course or oval. I'm showing up to the track and hopefully trying to win.
Yeah, and you do a great job, too. It's always exciting to see you and your it's brother, right? Adam's your brother?
Yes, 3 brothers.
Yeah.
Adam, Griffin, and Noel.
Yeah, look at that, eh? The 3 boys. Your dad's got to be still pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. So 2023 comes up. How's the plans coming together? Everything starting to formulate?
We're still exploring some options. We're not sure exactly what we're running full time. We're very heavy into karting, as you know. We're doing some international races, and we've done in the past, and so we have that on the go. And we're hoping to do full time RS1. We're just waiting for a couple things to come together to make it happen.
Is there available space on your car if there was a sponsor out there, and like the RS1 Cup Series? Man, what a venue, to get involved with something like that. They can turn a lot of heads and have some really good promotional value with a race car. Do you have room on your car if someone wanted to get involved?
Yes, definitely. We're actively seeking some corporate backing. There's a great opportunity on the ovals with lots of fans in the stands. What you're doing in your hosting, and for the Area 27 on TV. Then there's corporate days that are available as well at Area 27. That's a very nice package where the entire corporation can come out, 40 guests at a time, and come on the track and get the ride in the car and drive their own cars.
Yeah, it's cool, too. If you've never seen inside one of these RS1 Cup cars, there is 2 seats in there by design, and that's kind of cool. If you can... racers have always got to be reluctant to take a late model, any car for that fact, that, guys pour their heart and soul and probably their last nickel into building that race car to go race for a season. And, you want to treat the sponsor correct. You want to try and do whatever you can promotional-wise, but nothing will activate a sponsor like getting them inside a race car to get a feeling. They sit back and they watch you guys go around the track, and it's one thing to sit back and watch it. It's another total difference when you get behind the wheel or get inside that race car. And I know some guys are reluctant to put a sponsor behind the wheel because they're like me. They don't know how to drive a race car. I can talk about it, but not a good idea to stick old Joe behind the wheel and think you're going to go out and win a race. You're probably going to come back with just a steering wheel if I was behind the wheel. Whereas with the RS1 Cup cars, you've got 2 seats in there where now the sponsor can get in and you will take them for a ride that they will guaranteed never forget. I had Frank Kimmel Jr. take me around Riverside International Speedway with a petty driving experience. And I'll tell you what, I'll never forget it. Frankie took me around that Riverside at breakneck speed. I was white-knuckling it. I had the time of my life, and I could trust him, and that was the cool part. But there's nothing like having your helmet, 3 inches away from the concrete doing well over 100 miles an hour at Riverside. That'd be kind of cool. If they partnered up with you, they'd be able to maybe get into some of that activation where they can, come out, go for a rip in the car, and you never know. You could change seats and be the navigator and let them take it for a lap.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever we do it, we take 2 cars, 3 cars out at a time and do a mini race of some sort, and just funnel the people through. Usually about 40 people go for rides and get a little mini race to see how fast we actually go around Area 27. And the straightaway speed's one thing. It's when you get in the corner and you're downshifting and going through the gearboxes and really making the car work, not just a straight line speed. But yeah, it's definitely a cool experience.
Yeah, there's no other series like it, as far as I know, in North America, where you could go out and do this. Maybe in, I don't know, road racing, there is, where you got a driver and a navigator. But I mean, in this form of motorsports, it's really, there's no deal like it. It's just incredible. When you look at those tracks, you got Area 27, you've got Penticton Speedway. The series makes a stop in Saskatoon. That's where you won last year. What's that track like to go around? Looks like a lot of fun, and obviously you were quick there last year.
Yeah, Saskatoon's always been a great track. The facility is amazing. The fans love it. I'm hoping that they can really pack the fans in there this year. We had a bit of a rain issue last year where we fell a little bit short on the crowd, but I've seen that place packed, and they love it. I've done some corporate events there too, where you set up the big tent, and it's an amazing time. But yeah, I love that track. It's 2 grooves, and I seem to always be fast. Doesn't matter in what series, but yeah, just hopefully good things this year as well.
Well, when I talked to Richard and the organizers at Sutherland Automotive Speedway in Saskatoon, I said to them last year, where are the people? How come there's nobody here? Now, I know the weather was an issue, but I expected to see more fans there as well. Now, surprised that we even got the race in because of the weather. But in the same respect, I kind of thought there would be more people. Richard said, to be quite truthful, Joe, we didn't know what RS1 was all about. He said, my God, we know now. And it'll be hard to get a ticket for this year. And I wouldn't doubt it. It's going to be one of those must-see events when it rolls into Saskatoon, just like it is at Penticton. And, any of the tracks, the people in BC know about it, where the people in Saskatoon got to know about it just last year. It's going to be incredible to see how it all turns out this year. Would that be one that you would have circled on the calendar to make it back to Saskatoon?
Definitely. I'm trying to do all the RS1 races. Just need some things to come together to make it happen. But I love going to Saskatoon. We were racing karts there the weekend before, did well at that race, and then we raced on the oval the weekend after. And then Penticton's a great track. That whole organization group's done a great job out there. I believe they did some track repairs in 1 and 2, if I'm correct. So
yeah,
they did. Away that little bit of a bump on the inside, so that'll be really interesting. But yeah, I love those tracks, and Area 27's a class facility. So they're all great tracks that we go to currently.
I was texting with Ingo Siebert from Penticton just before the show started, and we got Ingo coming up next weekend to preview the Western Rattler300. But I asked Ingo, they had some open practice on the weekend, and I said, how was it? Did you get a chance to talk to many teams to get their take on what turn 1 and 2 was like now without that ski jump that was down there? And he didn't get a chance to talk to a lot of teams yet. He said, but anybody that he did talk to absolutely loved it. Now they're going to be searching for the line that they're going to run down through there. When you were at Penticton last year with that bump, did you run high or did you sort of tuck down? Because 3-4 was a totally different end than 1-2, right?
Yeah, it is a track where you can run both grooves. We'll typically kind of move high until we get really racy. But if you haven't seen the race in Penticton last year, the RS1, that second race, I believe, myself and McIntosh, that was really good racing for the last 10 laps there. Door to door, up, down, low, and just 10 great laps racing to the finish there.
Yeah, incredible. It's going to be another barn burner this year. Tell me, if someone wants to get involved with your race team, how do they go about it?
You can follow me on social media. My name, Noel Dowler. Our website is apollomotorsports.ca. And then the RS1 does a good job in following all the drivers. Yeah, just word of mouth as well.
Perfect stuff. And I would suggest that if you're out in Alberta or out in BC, doesn't matter where you are really, but to take full advantage of the program that I know Noel can put forward, you want to check it out. With the combination of being able to do some hospitality and getting guys in the car, I'll tell you what, you can make a CEO a race fan in a day. I guarantee it. Going for a ride with you, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, it's an amazing, life-changing experience almost.
Yeah, incredible. So what do you got up between now and the first race? You got some karting you're going to be doing? When do you kick that off?
Yeah, we got some karting, some testing to get ready for preseason here. That's coming up this week. We're looking to try and do some RS1 testing as well, and then just get ready for the first race, depending where it is.
And get after it. That's the way to get her done. Awesome stuff. Noel, this has been great catching up with you. You're looking good. You're all ready to go, and a race season's in front of us. Good luck. I look forward to catching up with you when we get out to BC.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be a hoot. Watch for him. That is Noel Dowler, and you can be part of his race team. He's got room, and not a lot of guys have room on those cars, Junior.
Yeah, definitely, and just a really unique way of going about it as well. You know, there's you can get clients involved, and you can get customers involved. It doesn't just have to be, corporate, employees. It can be, your customers, and provide something that really no other golf tournament is going to do for you, or no other trade show sponsorship is going to do for you.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that's highly interactive. It's a chance that you can spend a day with those core group of people, and as well, your name's going to get out there. You're going to get the brand awareness and all that great stuff.
Don't forget about the brand awareness.
Exactly.
That's the whole part of it. But I know back when I had Sauble Speedway, we created what was called Steak Night. And we had the teams come out. They cooked a steak like you would at a golf tournament. Everybody got steak and salads and that kind of stuff. And it was an opportunity for the teams to come out, put their sponsor in the race car, let them go for a couple of laps, and then back into the pits and put your next one in, and so on and so forth. We did that for like 3 or 4 hours. It was a huge success. And teams were signing sponsors up that had nothing to do with racing. It was their first opportunity. They brought them out and created a whole new wing of support for the race teams. It went off just incredible. I can just imagine what a program like Noel's got would be able to do. Now we're talking, you could get some serious investment, and it'd be well worth it. Not only the promotional value, but take a look. There's CEOs and upper-level management that are looking for something to do. Guys can only go golfing so many times. If you're not a golfer, you're not going to get really too excited about getting together with everybody and, doing a round of golf. If you're not a golfer, well, try this motorsports end. Not everybody can say that they got in with Noel Dowler and went for a rip in a race car at Area 27 at the speeds. It would be off the hook. It would be memorable, and they can activate. It's kind of a cool situation.
Yeah, definitely. And, by the sounds of it, he's got a lot going over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking points there. International go-karting as well.
Oh, yeah.
The Dowler family is such a huge name within the motorsports community in Canada. It's cool to see Noel. I think back to he's came a long way.
Yeah.
I think back to when he entered in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, and he was just a young kid, man, like 16 years old.
Yeah.
He's came such a long ways. He's now, one of them crafty veterans. He's got a lot of laps under his belt, and in tons of different styles of cars, from, the Xfinity series down to, late models.
Yep.
And, down to go-karts.
Yep, including go-karts. Pretty cool stuff. We're going to hit our final break of the night. We've got the pole sitter for the Western Rattler300. Coming up on the other side of the break, Wes Mader is going to join us. Stay with us, everybody.
And the bass keeps running.
Little Joe, this is John Force, NHRA Full Throttle Champion, and I'm here with your dad, and he's making me more famous. So God bless him.
Let's get into it. Get stoked. Get it started.
From coast to coast, you're listening
to Canada Talks.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
It's Canada's kickoff to 2023 at Penticton Speedway. It's the second annual Western Rattler300 weekend.
If you build it, they will come.
Friday, May 5th, it's qualifying, plus the Street Stock Viper 100 and the Westcar Snakebite 125. The top three will qualify and move on to the 300. Then Saturday, May 6th, it's the 300 Last Chance Qualifier, plus the Street Stock Venom 100 and the second annual Western Rattler 300. It's Canada's richest to win pro late model event with $20,000 to the winner. For tickets and info, get to PentictonSpeedway.com or tune in live on Racetime Radio for live flight-to-flight coverage.
Riley Siebert, the winner. This is my own, not coming here to push me around, and this is probably the biggest win of my career.
May 5th and 6th, the best in the business will be at Penticton Speedway at the Western Rattler 300.
Alexa, play NASCAR radio on SiriusXM.
SiriusXM NASCAR radio from SiriusXM.
Start your engine!
Gain access to NASCAR's biggest names.
Martin Truex Jr.
Kyle Busch.
Chase Elliott.
Hear live coverage of every single race.
They're side by side for the win.
It's unfiltered 24/7 NASCAR.
Welcome to Victory Lane.
We've got breaking news. Let's go to the hotline.
This is SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Listen on the app or at home on devices equipped with Amazon Alexa. Learn more at SiriusXM.com/NASCAR.
Hey everyone, this is World Series champions Lance McCullers Jr. and Carlos Correa. We're excited to announce that our podcast, The Walkout, is now available on SiriusXM.
Each episode, we go inside the world of combat sports, providing hardcore analysis, honest opinions, and top picks for every fight.
If you share the same passion for combat sports as we do, you need to listen to The Walkout.
Episodes are available on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the track. Live on RaceTime Radio, SiriusXM 167.
And just like that, we are back with you all live tonight on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks, and absolutely RevTV. How is everybody doing out there? Sure hope you're enjoying the show. Up next, we're going to talk Western Rattler 300. That's coming up May 5th and 6th. And you'll remember last year was the first Western Rattler. This is going to be the second annual. This baby pays $20,000 to win, and our next guest had his number 10 car sitting on the pole for last year's race. Didn't end there. He ended up with engine trouble. But what do you say? We bring him up on the Zoom line right now. I see Wes Mader with us. What's going on there, Wes? How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. How are you boys tonight?
Fantastic, my friend. You got that car all shined up, tuned up, and ready to zoom?
Well, we got it shiny. We're just working on it today, but still a few things to do to it. But we're working on it. Yeah, it'll be ready for the Rattler for sure.
Did it take much, Wes? Did you have a lot to do with the race car this year? How did you finish up 2022?
Well, 22. I only raced the Rattler, and then we ran one race over at Western Speedway with it.
Right,
so
right.
That was 22 races that car ran last year. Had a little body damage over there, but nothing major. Just service and get the setup ready. That's it. A few body panels, but no, we'll be good to go here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, then you'll be all set. Now, how about crew wise? You got the same crew helping you out? Who have you got helping you?
Yeah, I got my local boys coming up again this year. My son helps me out, and a couple of other local boys. Then I got Corey Hall coming out. He'll be out. Him and Andrew will be out the Sunday before. We'll spend a few days in my shop, and then Andrew will carry on with Kyle Reed. and Corey will stay with me.
Wow, you got some help coming in. That's good to hear. Corey Hall, of course, from Canada's East Coast, and Andrew Hicken. We all know Andrew with the King race team, and you got some quality guys there coming in. You've got a good car. Last year, no doubt, Brad Mann and I were there on Thursday watching all the practice sessions, and of course they had the timer going, and we're watching, and I seen the 10 car go out there, boom, right to the top of the board. Then, you see Riley Siebert come out in the 09 car. Well, Riley started out slow, and I thought, well, he's got a lot to pick up. The 1 car was another one that was fast. 14, Carlson was flying, like so many good guys, and it just kept changing. But, man, when it all counted and they were going for that lap, it was you, my friend, that set fast time. And you were looking good throughout the course of the race, led some laps. Then what happened?
You know what? We started having trouble right out of the gate. That thing it was almost like it was compression lock. And once we got the engine apart, the thrust bearings were seizing up, took the crank out of it. So leading up to it, it was early troubles. It was hard starting, and so when I got the engine apart, we started seeing all the troubles there. But it started, 50, 60 laps in, we started feeling something different. And I think we got 100 laps or 90 laps or something. And then finally that was it. She gave up the ghost, and their night was over.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. When you feel it,
fixed up there last
when
summer.
you feel it going south, it's a terrible feeling, isn't it? Especially when you know you had a fast car, you got one that's handling, and you're in good shape.
Yes, no, we had a real good car. It was sat on the pole for a reason. It was handling good, lots of power. Just unfortunate the engine went, because we didn't have a lot of laps on that track overall. I think we raced there once before the fall before, but this year we should be good to go. Like I said, we know the engine is good. It's fresh, so.
Awesome.
Hey, Wes, do you have a blank wall beside you? Could you turn your camera maybe towards the blank wall to your left?
There you go.
There's the lighting behind you. You've got the window behind you, and it keeps on bouncing back and forth on the visual side.
There you go. You're looking good right there.
Is that better, or is that?
Nope, you're right on the money, man.
Okay. All right,
how far do you got to go to hit Penticton Speedway? Where's home for you, Wes?
Pitt Meadows, it's 45 minutes outside of Vancouver, so we're 4-hour run up to Penticton, something like that. There, it's not a far run.
Yeah, so Western would have been your home track, so to speak. Back in the day, you would have ran a lot of races at Western. Now it's gone. Where's home track going to be for you this year? Or will you have one? Or are you just going to tour around?
No, you know what? I'm going to do the Rattler. Maybe they're going to do the Canada 200 over at Saratoga. I've never raced there, so I'll try to hit that. And maybe the Miller 200 down at South Sound across the border. That's the couple I've got slated for this year. Just busy with work, so we'll see what the time frame allows.
Well, and that's the thing, right? This sport, when you got time and you obviously enjoy your craft and doing what you do, but you got to have time to go do it. And by the sounds of it, if it's not prepared the way you want it, you're not going to go race it until you're ready to go. And that's a true sign of a winner. And a guy that'll go out there and do well is one that comes out prepared. And Wes, you're that guy. You get that car ready to go, and it's going to be something else. How about this year? You're going to be, of course, trying to get that pole with the car laying down kind of early. You don't have the textbook that everybody else gathered throughout the course of the race last year. It was an incredible 300, I might add. Went off. What did we have? Maybe, 6, 7 cautions in 300 laps. It was amazing that way. You won't have the textbook notebook that everybody else got that ran the 300 laps. But the guys you got coming in to help you out definitely know what's going on. How will you attack this one this year?
How will I what?
How will you attack the 300 this year?
You know what? It's a long race. The biggest thing, it's nice if you're starting up front, but the biggest thing is staying out of trouble. Staying out of trouble. Keep the tires on it. it's just, and then, the last 75 laps, something like that, that's where the race starts. But if you can get through to that, I think you got a good chance to win the race.
Exactly. And they got rid of that bump down in turn 1 and 2. Was that an issue for the 10 car last year? Did you get into that bump? Did it upset you much?
No, you know what? I didn't. It didn't bother me, and I was watching the balance of the race, and everybody was still low in 1. Everybody's still, they'd go into 1 and hug the line, and then you got that better arc coming off, between 2 and 3. But no, I hear that they took it out of there, so it'll be nice. You'd get a little upset, but you feel that and you drive accordingly. But I just think this year you might get a little bit faster track with not having to deal with that bump.
Absolutely. Keep the tires under it a little bit better, too. When you unload like that, you're guaranteed to have some slip, right? So it's you might even see some faster times later on in the race, which it can be a good thing. It can make the race pace go up a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. You see a racetrack make an improvement like that. It can change the way that the place races. Look at Delaware Speedway. They didn't touch the ends.
Right.
They just repaved the straightaways. And it just so happens that now you don't get upset on the exit of the corner or the entrance of the corner. And it made the race pace for every one of those. It didn't matter if it was a 15-lap race or if it was a 200-lap race. The race pace went up. And just creates a different way that the place races. Wes, how, you mentioned Corey Hall and the King Racing bunch. How did you, a guy from BC, how did you get hooked up with a bunch of guys from Atlantic Canada to make your racing program come together?
Well, I'm originally from Atlantic Canada. I'm originally from Cape Breton, so
okay.
I didn't know the Hauler Andrew. I met them through Kyle Reed, because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know Kyle and them, but I knew their father. I grew up with their father. So, the small community is back there. You start talking to them, and
Right.
then they lead me up to Andrew. But that's how I got in touch with them guys.
Did you
'Cause I had a
race?
few
Did you
years.
race out east at all?
Oh, yeah, that's where I started. I started in Sydney back in the 80s. That's at Bud Speedway. That's the small little speedway home. So that's
Yeah.
where I started, and then make the odd trip to Antigonish with our. We had a little sportsman deal back there in the 80s. So then we'd go up to Antigonish and race up there the odd time, and then moved here in 1991.
Well,
and then raced across the border for a few years, and then I was out of it for 20 years.
You know what you're going to have to do now, Wes? You're going to have to go win that Western Rattler 300 and then load that puppy up in that hauler, get someone to drive it, get them to send it out, or just piggyback off Kyle's trip and stick another car up in his hauler, and you got to make the IWK 250, run the two biggest races in Canada, man.
That is a goal one day, to get back to Antigonish and run that. And I've talked to Kyle about it, talked to Andrew about it, and in the next couple of years, you just never know. It may happen. I just got to get some seat time there in Antigonish. It's been a long time since we've been on that track.
Oh, what a beautiful speed palace that place is. Donald Chisholm and his whole group out there. What John started, Donald's continuing, and it's simply amazing. Just a beautiful track. Who have you got sponsoring you on that 10 car? You got the sponsorship all lined up? Is there any room on the quarter panels if someone wanted to jump on for the Western Rattler 300?
Oh, there's always room in there, but it's the W. Mader Excavating is the sole one, Dynamic Powertrain, and Inland Kenworth are my three big ones that help me out. But yeah, there's always room. There's always room for somebody to put a name on the car and help out.
Perfect. Well, I know I look forward to catching up with you out there. Of course, Race Time Radio, we're going to have everything live, flag to flag. We're going to carry it right from the time you guys hit the racetrack to do qualifying and all the way through, my friend. And I know we all look forward to it. It's going to be huge out in BC on May 5th and 6th, the Western Rattler 300. And you listen, that name, Wes Mader, you're going to hear a lot. Wes, thanks so much for the time tonight on Race Time. Like I say, look forward to catching up with you. You going to be there Thursday for practice before the 300?
Yeah, we'll go up Wednesday night, and then we'll be able to get our tires and practice Thursday, and yeah, we'll be there for first of Thursday morning for sure.
Well, look forward to it, man. Hopefully the weather warms up. I know Trevor Siebert's got the order in now. He wants warmer weather than we even had last year, and it wasn't too bad last year.
No, it was comfortable last year. It was comfortable, yeah.
You betcha. Bud, thanks so much for the time tonight. I look forward to seeing you out there. It's going to be a hoot.
Okay, thanks, boys. Appreciate the call in. Okay?
You betcha.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Wes Mader, you got to watch him. I'll tell you what, that 10 car, he's the real deal, and he's got good support on that car. It's a good piece, and it's going to be pretty cool, Junior.
It's pretty neat to the King Racing guys. You know, they're running this weekend down at Loudon, New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, I wonder how Austin made out. I didn't have a look.
I haven't seen.
Yeah.
As well, we got to give a big shout out to all the Canadian contenders that went down to the spring kickoff for the INEX guys, the U.S. Legends Cars Nationals, the spring kickoff down in Nashville. There was a bunch of Canadian contenders down there, you know, from the Mihar, Tavares. There's a bunch of Canadians that made the trip down, and you know, hats off to everybody that went down there as well. A couple guys that went and did spent a week running crate late models is the Graham, the father and son. The Grahams, they went down and put together a bunch of good finishes.
Did they?
Tore up the 98 one night, but the 14, by the sounds of it, everything clicked off without a hitch. So yeah, definitely, man. There's so much news coming down the pipe. There's a lot of excitement to you know, just getting ready for the season to kick off, and I can't wait for it.
Well, we got practice. If you got a hankering for watching some race cars on the track, Flamborough Speedway is going to be practicing next weekend. Delaware Speedway's got APC practice. Don't know whether it's open. I would imagine you could get your way into the pit area to see what is hot and ready to go for 2023. You've got Sunset Speedway, I believe, is either up next weekend or the weekend after that. A lot of tracks will be firing up for practice. I've seen Full Throttle Motor Speedway in Durham, Ontario, Varney, Ontario. They had the rollers out, the paintbrushes. The place looks amazing. Paul Trepanier and the staff there are doing a great job. The tracks will be getting ready right across Canada. And, you know, we look forward to getting you as much information as possible throughout the course of the season. We plan on having winners next week on the show. Ingo Siebert is going to join us. We'll talk Western Rattler with the guy that's running Penticton Speedway. We've also got, how about Pete Vanderwees and Junior? We got both of them coming on next week in the shop with the car in the background. So you can look forward to Pete Vanderwees dropping by. We'll talk quick fire starter super stocks, and we'll find out what their plan is this year. So we got a couple lined up already and more to come, of course, throughout the course of the week. You can always follow us along at Racetime Radio on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those different ways. Of course, check out Racetime Radio TV on YouTube. And don't forget to hit that subscribe, please. And we much appreciate it. Junior, what do you got going this week? We got 1 minute.
Yeah, definitely. Just getting ready, fired up. We got to give a shout out earlier on this week. The release came out. Spark Power back with DJ Kennington,
cool.
back with Rick Verburn,
yep.
as well on the quarter midgets as well for the Verburn camp. But
they got their own heat race.
They
now,
do
don't
have their
they?
own heat race. Yeah, basically between the DJK boys and Rick and them. Yeah, no, it's going to be really cool. We got to give a big shout out. I can't wait for everybody to see this guy's car. I know you've seen it. I showed you a sneak peek. But Roy Wilkie, driver of the 33 and the Super Stocks.
Beautiful.
My Lord, they did a lot of work over the winter, and hats off to Roy and the guys for stepping up and taking a big swing.
Hey, Roy builds a wicked house.
Hey,
he builds a wicked race car too. But look at that one.
Definitely, and yeah, no, there's lots of stuff to look forward to. I know, you know, the Super Stock division is going to be crammed with big names this year, and can't wait to see everything come together. together. And everybody enjoy your week and get out there to a racetrack this weekend.
And don't miss that ARCA race from Talladega. You don't want to miss that. Jason White is going to be in the 44 car. And Amber Balkan, she's from Winnipeg. She's also a fellow Canadian. She'll be in the Venturini. What number is she? I can't remember offhand. One of the Venturini cars, not 55. But I can't remember. Sorry, Amber. I can't remember the car number,
15?
but I will.
15?
I don't know. But she'll be in that race as well. So we got 2 to pull for in the show. It'll be a great race. You can guarantee it. And let's see how Alex Labbe does. I think Xfinity is there, right, next weekend?
I believe so. Yep.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight in the Racetime Radio studio. Got to thank Sue here for doing the production. Got to thank Scotty in Toronto. Also got to thank Tim at the RevTV studios in Steele. Can't forget about you, Bobby. Good job, and that's going to do it for us. We'll catch you next week right here on Racetime Radio. Have a good week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Racetime Radio. Visit us on the web at www.racetimeradio.com. We hope you'll join us again next time for more Racetime Radio.
Come on now, dig.
Exclusively on your home for the hardcore race fan.
Excellent, buddy, excellent.